Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday.
Happy
It's
Monday.
a Monday. We'll give people a few minutes to get to come on. Let's see who's joining us today after a wonderful holiday, I'm hoping. Hi, Andrea, and Colette, Heather, and Jasmine, Lorena, Molly,
Where do you see all these
Vicky.
people? Where do you
Huh?
see these people? They're not putting their names in the chat, are they?
No. I'm seeing it in the attendees. As you guys are coming in, go ahead and say hello and where you're from. Hey, Colette. Andrew from Minnesota, who is working our tech today. Hey, we have people joining us from all over. Great. From Iowa. Woo! I was just in Iowa a couple of months ago. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Thank you for joining us on a Monday. It's a Monday. All right. So, welcome to Staying Strong and Positive for Ourselves and Our Children, our daily webinar series. We're happy to have you here with us today. Andrew. Today, what's our topic for today? Well, I don't know about you guys. I had a lot of time for this weekend, and over the 4-day weekend for us. Woohoo! So today we're talking about social media for better and for worse, and we're your hosts, Katthe Gatzwolf and Sarita Sashington, and we're happy to have this conversation with you today. I hope you guys are looking forward to this. Is a good one. Can't go wrong with social media conversation. So our ways to engage today, when you're ready to speak, please raise your hand. We'll ask you to unmute yourselves and then we'll ask you to share your screen. We'll let you share your screen. Feel free to type your comments in the group chat. Make sure it's going to everybody. If you don't make sure it's going to everybody, it's going to go to just Katthe and I. Okay? And then please be patient. If this conversation is really good, it's hard to get to everybody, although we try. All right? Thanks, guys. And then Andrew's giving some additional tips in the chat. All right. Our agreements is how we create an emotionally safe space as we share because we don't want to be like social media. We want to have a safe space. So your agreements speak from your own experience and use I statements today as you share. Treat other people the way you want to be treated. This includes the no judgment because we can get all of that on Facebook and social media. So treat other people the way you want to be treated. No judging, okay? Full presence, please no multitasking. You took this time to be with us on your lunch break. So outside of eating, don't be checking Candy Crush and your emails and stuff. Be in the moment with us, okay? And if you need a minute, take a minute. Although you may not need a minute today because talking about social media. All right, yay! Do you agree? Make sure you drop it in the chat. If you're new, just type I agree in the chat so we know that you are committed to keeping this space safe today as we have this conversation. Fantastic. Yes. Look at people agreeing. Woohoo! Okay, I feel good to move. Kat, you feel good to move?
I feel good to move too. So we're going to start with the dark side or the negative because
Dark
we
side.
positive. We want to end on a positive note. So this is we figure everybody knows about social media. Everybody we're not providing a lot of context before we get into this conversation. We're just launching right in. So our first question, as you can see, is how does social media undermine our well-being and our children's well-being? And then also, what can we do about that? So how does social media undermine your well-being and your children's well-being?
Hmm.
I mean, I can answer that while we're waiting for people to weigh in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I periodically go on social media diets because and like I haven't been on, I'm very recent. I'm on TikTok, LinkedIn. Let's see, what else am I on? I don't really go on Instagram much or Twitter at all. TikTok, I don't have it. I browse TikTok for fun. You'll see that later. But so too much Facebook, it just fear mongers like everybody's writing all of this negative things about their political and what's happening in the news and all of that, and it just like it makes me anxious if I go on it too much. Margaret says they have access to websites, etc., that are above their pay grade and share amongst their peers. And Molly said, it makes me less involved and detached, and so that affects my children. So it's something I have to make a conscious effort to put the phone down. And Brenda says it's become an obsession with everyone. There's no face-to-face anymore.
Yeah, I posted something the other day and said, "Tell me you're addicted to Facebook without telling me you're addicted." And I think about when I'm sitting with my family and we're having a really good conversation, and then somebody just is on their phone, and I'm like, "We're right in the middle of having this great conversation. Like, what could possibly be on Facebook that's more interesting than us laughing and talking right now as a family?" Like, it drives me absolutely crazy. So. And I'm with you, Katthe. I do the Facebook diets too, the social media diets every once in a while. Tiffany says, teaches them stuff they may not be ready to learn yet. And Colette said, people sometimes put all their dirty laundry out. Yes. You know what? You guys, I mentioned about the judging piece, like you can get that on social media. That burns me up. Like, I hate for people to share something and then all the judgment comes and it just makes me feel some kind of way. And then I'm on another diet for another social media diet for a month. Like, I can't take it. I hate it. That's because I do cafes all day long. So,
And Andrew says can create virtual bubbles where it just constantly reaffirms your viewpoint and so can create a skewed reality. That's
definitely.
definitely that. I think the other thing is I know when and this has been talked about a lot in the media and stuff, but I think it creates pressure for kids also in terms of their skewed expectations about what your life should be like. Because
Hmm.
everybody posts their positive stuff and nobody, well, it's two things. Like people post a whole bunch of positive stuff, like, and you could get jealous or feel like you don't measure up. That's,
Hmm.
especially if you're a kid. And then the other thing is, as people said, airing their dirty laundry, is it's just, I worried about it with my son. Like if you're too much putting things that seem cool to you and your friends, but then it can really undermine your reputation in the larger world, like, I mean,
I see.
later.
Colette said someone because they used to talk so she used to talk so negatively about her husband. It was awful. And I told people to use their own Facebook page for negative opinions and then delete their comments. Very true. I almost had to block my own sister because every time her stuff would have like her social media posts would be about like bad stuff that happens to children. I'm just like, what? Like you're draining my whole soul. Like I'm gonna delete you. She didn't even realize that she was doing it until I called my other sisters along and was like, am I the only person who sees this and is getting totally bombed out by her stuff? And she's like, oh, I didn't even notice it. She was going to get blocked. Good thing I told her first. I gave her a heads up. So she changed it, but it was icky. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a conversation like that actually this morning before work with a friend who feels like it's a service to like tell all the negative things that are going on. So I get into my email, and in the morning I have 3 emails from this person. One is about 2 shootings that happened in the neighborhood where he lives, in Evanston, and one is a mass shooting where 5 people were killed at a gas station. Another one is it's just like these shootings. And then the other one is like the most scary thing you can find about the whatever the variant is called, the Omicron or whatever. And I like read 2 articles this morning that had me feeling like, okay, it's like every other variant, like it's more contagious, but if you're vaccinated, it's you still are protected against dying probably. But he picked the one that was like the most scary. And I'm like, why do I want to wake up to this? Why do I want like, and I'm gonna like, so I emailed him back and said, send me only the ones that are about, positive, send me the ones that are about creative or good news, because I get this all. I'm gonna find out I got all of those things, in other ways. And
Mm-hmm.
he told me that I was trying to be an ostrich and hide my head in the sand. And I was like, no, I get them, I get that information. I just don't need it from you,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. How about I'm protecting my mental health so I don't completely lose it? Because I think when we talk about how does it undermine our well-being, our children's well-being, the suicide rates are very high because children don't think they can measure up to what's happening, what they see on social media. So it's sucky. So I don't need that stuff every day either. Definitely don't want to start my day off like that. Andrew says any sort of argument or discussion generally encourages witty comebacks and shutdowns while also actively removing context and nuance from the conversation. At the same time, removes necessary parts of communication like body language and tone. Oh, definitely.
Like say
Luana
that
says she,
in person. You wouldn't say that to me in person, right? Like that's
exactly.
would be more polite. You would be more, and it's like you're cool if you're like over the top with your.
Right. Saying some crappy stuff to people. Luana says she doesn't use social media due to negative usage outweigh positive by consumers. And Andrew said this can be even worse on platforms like Twitter where there's a character limit. I know a lot of people who say, so I'm glad we're talking about like both the positive and the negative because although there are some negative stuff, there's an awful lot of positive on social media. So, and then, yeah. And the negative, I just block, like if I see stuff, I have a friend who posts like seriously sexually graphic stuff all the time. And when she does, I just block the post. Like I like her, I love her, she's family. And when I do that, I just go, "What is this?" And I simply just, block that post. Like I don't want to see this, hide it because I don't want what if my kids get on my Facebook page? Ew.
Yeah,
Tiffany said I try to show oh, go ahead.
no, go on. It's okay.
Then Tiffany said, I try to show awareness that too much of anything isn't good. It has my young boy so focused on Xbox, which isn't bad, but it's an addiction. It's taken over, so I have to give him a detox from the Xbox and redirect him to something else that makes him happy and let him see there's more than tech.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
Tiffany.
great to see. I was thinking that too. Like sometimes it's just negative because it can take over your life and eat your life so that you're not doing other things. So the productive things that you have that you should be doing, or just better forms of relaxation or exercise
Yeah.
or something else. Let's go to the next negative question so we can get to the positive. We're already doing this. How do you engage with social media and how do you teach your children to navigate social media? So Tiffany already moved us in that direction.
Mm-hmm. I know for me, I had to give when my Misha babies come over, they don't get to play, so they have Roblox. And we were just having this conversation literally before we started the webinar, because I was like, are games like social media? They are online gaming, but there's so much, they can talk to each other and they're having conversations and chats and all that stuff in like Roblox or the different online gaming. And I have to give her a boundary when she comes. I'm like, did you come to see me or did you just come to use my phone to play Roblox? She's 8. And she's like, no, Misha, I came to see you. I was like, so why do you keep following me around asking me for my phone? And so, but I realized that when she comes over here, it's only time that she and her sister, because she doesn't have a phone. She's 8. And because she's so addicted, her mom won't give her a phone. So I think that when, Christmas, I'm going to get her a tablet. So just when she comes over here, and then I give her a time frame, like I'm only giving you 30 minutes or 1 hour. And she's happy. She's like, okay, Misha. I'm like, because you're supposed to be with me, not playing Roblox. What the heck?
Andrew says, I'm sure by the time I have children old enough to be on social media, there are going to be a lot of changes to what social media looks like. I want to make sure I'm staying up to date with the pros and cons of each and teach my children those aspects. I'm also a big fan of setting a daily time limit. Had that as a kid, and looking back, I'm so grateful I did. And Molly says, I make my son aware I'm listening. If he's disrespectful, he's he's done playing online gaming. I do need to make more of an effort to discuss why we need to be kind. That's great, Molly. And Colette said there was an explosion here in Flint, Michigan that leveled 3 homes and damaged at least 30 others, and 2 people lost their life. And I was horrified that someone was doing Facebook Live.
Oh my
It was
God.
awful that this person wanted to videotape instead of offering help to this mom whose grief was horrific. Someone shared the video with me, and I did not know what to expect, or I would have never watched it. Yeah, I saw that arc on what was it, Station 19 or something on TV, where the guy like slams the phone out of the person's hand and who's trying to phone, like film a
Yeah.
fire, like people going to film videos of other people suffering is just like unbelievable. Why
Mm-hmm.
is someone video? Molly says, Colette, I saw the same thing. Why is someone videoing that? Instead, and what Colette said, instead of offering help, instead of like trying to do something helpful, it's like gawking and then, you know, building your own reputation. So I think it's also like teaching kids about when you said, Molly, about being kind, like why being kind is important. I think that's really an important insight that having anything you use as a tool and you're going to use it according to your values. So what do you value? What is important? What do you want people to know about you or think about you? And what does it communicate when you're the way that you are being on social media? What does that communicate about who you are and what you care about?
Great. So we have another comment from Tiffany, and then we have Sylvia
We
has
have
raised her hand to join us.
Morena says, I see more young children with electronic devices now and without any time restriction, unfortunately. And Tiffany says, I also like to show my kids situations where sick people have tried to talk or kidnap kids because these things happen. I need them to understand the good and the bad. I don't allow them to chat on the games. But you say we have a hand raised?
We do.
Awesome.
Sylvia. Okay, Sylvia, you just have to unmute.
Need to unmute yourself, Sylvia. Yeah,
There
there you
you go.
are. You talking? Should be free to talk now. We're not
Oh,
hearing you. Andrew, is there anything you can see?
you got a lit up box. It's coming.
All right, well, let's go to the positive while we wait for Sylvia. So how does social media contribute to your life in a positive way? And what's the next question on here, Andrew? Which social media platforms do you find most uplifting and encouraging? Okay, so Tanji said, my son has set a 2-hour daily limit and my son balanced it with art, reading together, using real books, and daily outdoor play. Nice.
Okay. Um, okay, so look, how does social media contribute to my life in a positive way? I have like 12,000 siblings, and we're sort of spread out all over the place. So, yeah, like Lorena, it's really helping us to stay connected, and we share so much stupid, silly, funny stuff with each other that that's how it contributes. Um, yeah,
Andrea said,
and
especially during
mhm.
COVID, I've been able to stay connected with family and friends on social media. It's a way for me to feel connected and still be socially distanced when.
Mm,
And Colette says, I've been able to connect with friends
yeah,
entry in high school. I'm 51. And Tiffany, there's a lot
yes.
you can learn. Also keep in touch with family and friend connected and see their wonderful pictures. And Molly says, I run a business online. So that's what I use Facebook for. That and staying in touch with friends when my life as a mom and busy is busy. And Claudia says, I found my dad and connected with new family members. Wow.
Hey, Claudia. Andrew said Facebook Messenger group video chats were so useful during the first part of the pandemic. I'm grateful that I could have those experiences of connecting with friends and family during a time that was so isolating. Real talk. I agree with everything that everybody said. And if I had to think of which social media was did I find most uplifting and encouraging for me, that would totally be TikTok. I fell in love with TikTok
Well, me too.
like during the pandemic, but I loved it because of the freaking what's the things? There was so many, everybody was, like with their families. So you had like grandmas and granddads doing TikTok, and everybody can be a social media star on TikTok, regardless of your race, your size, your look. You don't have to be like a Barbie doll. Anybody can be a star. It made me so happy. It made me feel really good. I know we said some stuff coming through. Margaret, I post in parent groups about parenting and community outreach. Yes, Andrea, I also feel a sense of shared activism. connecting to others who think the way I do about certain topics. It's easy to mobilize individuals in one place, even if we're physically distant. Yeah, yeah.
I was
Yeah,
resonating with the learning things. Does YouTube count as social media?
I think so.
I think so too. And like we joke about YouTube University, but like anything you want to learn, you can find things on YouTube that will show you. And like I'm not so good at reading manuals like to get to get things working. You
Hmm.
can always find, videos on YouTube that will help with that.
Yeah, I was talking, I was just having this conversation with my sister yesterday, and my nephew wants to go into photography. And I was saying, oh, well, shouldn't he do a photography class? Like, he can use some money to take a photography class. And she was like, oh, he's just gonna go on YouTube. He's been doing all of these different things on YouTube that, teaching about photography. It's like, oh, wow. Okay, so now you don't need school anymore. We just need, if you need to learn something, you can just do it on YouTube. So,
Andrew
you
says
know,
for him it's Reddit. There are some groups there that have connected me to all sorts of resources that have been so useful. I also get this thing called
Reddit.
Quora. Reddit. Yeah,
Um,
Reddit has a lot of a lot of groups on different topics that uh,
uh-huh.
I remember I went on Reddit when I was playing Pokemon a lot. When I was playing Pokemon and they have Reddit user groups for that. I also went on this thing called Quora, which is like a question and answer forum. So that
Hmm.
if somebody asks a question and then a bunch of people answer it, and usually the answer that gets the most thumbs up go. But I've
Yeah.
learned stuff there too, you know.
Hmm. I
Uh,
haven't been on Quora in a long time. That's been around a long time. Quora has been around a long time.
yeah, I don't
I
know.
almost forgot about them.
I don't know. It just starts popping into my inbox. I don't know. So Tanji says the Children's Trust hosted our keynote speaker, Dr. Jessica Price, for the 29th annual, I guess, A View from All Sides virtual conference on Facebook on November 4th, 2021. Oh, wow. So Facebook, I know like you, Sarita, have done a lot on Facebook Live with the community of practice, but also your own stuff, right? Like on,
Yeah. I did. So I have a ministry called Daddy's Favorite Ministry, and for 4 years I did a live every Monday where I just encouraged people to transform relationships through grace. It was amazing, and I miss it. I put it on pause when my mom passed, and then just recently over the summertime I launched my online. I did an online book launch. It was so freaking exciting. I was so nervous. I was like, how do I was looking forward to like being in person and meeting people and food. And then, because of the pandemic, we couldn't do that. So I had to launch my book. It's called The Sunken Place, Overcoming Midlife Crisis in Marriage. Shameless plug. But I got to launch it online, a virtual and online book launch party. So I had like speakers and music, and it was so bomb. It was so bomb. So yeah, so I do that on social media, and then we have a Facebook group that we're going to talk about a little bit later. That we do a lot of different videos and encouraging people, and so it's pretty cool. I love it. I love it. Ah, Andrew, thanks. Look at that. I'm in the chat. He's so great with dropping links.
so let's go to the next slide. Oh, and there's also the Children's Trust Fund Facebook Live video. That's great. And others, what are you learning? What are you doing? How have these different social media platforms contributed to your lives? And then we're
So
going to go one by one and go like, what's the value and what's the positive part of Facebook? Like, what does Facebook do for you?
yeah, okay. So this is where I become a learner because I don't really see the difference between Facebook and Instagram. And I have people who've come off Facebook like Facebook is too whatever, whatever. I'm just on Instagram. But when I go to Instagram, it doesn't look that much different from Instagram. So if there's anyone out there who can like help me with that, that'd be great.
Well, I
Uh,
know people. I know Instagram. I think TikTok has kind of taken some stuff away from Instagram. It's owned
hmm.
by Facebook. So Andrew says he's of the same opinion. But Instagram is is photo based or picture and video based. So
Mm-hmm.
it's got, and Facebook is more text based, I think. Like that's what my understanding is. So Instagram, the people who I know use Instagram, it's because it's just more, and it's supposed to be more positive too. It's supposed to be more about
Hmm.
pretty pictures.
Hmm. Well, Pam says there's some great daily aspirations and connects us with family and friends. Also, it keeps you informed about event and resources. I think that's the value of Facebook. Thanks, Pam. Hey, Pam. And Molly says TikTok has shown me some awesome life hacks, and it helps lighten my mood, makes me laugh. Facebook is valuable to keep me up to date with other lives. Yeah, agreed.
But doesn't your son do Instagram, Sarita? Isn't
He
that
does do Instagram, and I follow him on Instagram. Heavy Crowns. He's so funny. But when I like So you know what? I'll tell you what's valuable about Facebook and Instagram. I go and snatch all the pictures. Every picture that family members put up on Facebook and Instagram, I go and I snatch them. My son is on Instagram. He has a heavy presence, heavy crowns. He's a rapper, and I go when he did his road trip. I went on Instagram and I took all his pictures. He did a road trip across like all these the Red Summer Tour, and I made a photo album from him from all of his pictures. It was so awesome. But yeah, I follow him on Instagram. I like Instagram. I just haven't figured it out. Like I don't know how to post my stuff on Instagram and then I have to crop it. It's strange. I don't know.
so Brenda says she's had a lot of past foster kids find her on Facebook and reconnect with her. And Andrea says Instagram and Facebook are managed by the same company. Yeah, it's Meta now, right? The platform is
Hmm.
similar because of that. Before they were merged, it was a lot different. It's more of a picture sharing site, Instagram. You don't really get into a lot of back and forth and comments either. And yeah, more positive overall because you don't get back and forth. You can like something, but it's not so much of a dialogue with,
Mm.
opinion based. It's not opinion based, it's picture based or video based. So
Okay.
Margaret says she doesn't use any of them to their fullest extent, but TikTok can be uplifting, and Facebook and Insta, yes. Taking those pics are cool. It makes you think how many people who have access to them as well. That's true. You live your life.
Yeah, but can you make Instagram pictures private like you do with Facebook? Because with Facebook, I can decide who gets to see my pictures. I don't know how to do that on Insta. Tiffany said Facebook for me is for my family connection. Instagram is for photos. TikTok is my favorite because they have some world news and some things don't make it on TV. I also love all the hacks. I also have Pinterest. I'm a crafty person. So that app helps me get into great creative
Oh my God,
ideas.
Pinterest. We have
Not
to
Pinterest.
Pinterest. I use Pinterest like when I bought my house, my first house. I don't count the house that I bought with my ex-husband back in the day. He has, but by myself, I bought a house last March. And when I was figuring out like what to do with it, like what to, like decorating ideas and like I use Pinterest like a lot. And I also use Pinterest for food, for like I have a ton
Hmm.
of on Pinterest that are like cool stuff that you find and you can just pin somewhere.
Yes, now that's good. That's picture based. Pinterest. I love Pinterest for all of my recipes.
Mhm.
And I am also using them to try and figure out how to decorate my house. But okay, just going back for 2 seconds. Facebook, the groups. So I'm part of a decorating Black women who decorate, Black women who organize. Like I'm part of all those groups too, which is helpful. Claudia said Pinterest is addictive. I'm moving up. Tiffany said also TikTok has people you can relate with when you're going through certain situations to get uplift and power. Yes. Molly said, oh my gosh, don't get me started on Pinterest. Lorena said Facebook for me is more family intended now. Instagram is more for pics. TikTok is more entertainment and more addictive. I do also like Pinterest. Yes. Did we get everybody? Okay.
Claudia's Pinterest. Yeah. Okay. So I think we were going to go a little bit more into, what's the next slide, Andrew? Into more depth. Oh, this is TikTok for y'all, because I was going to talk about like what I like on TikTok. It's the addictive part where you just like, I don't know, this is just fun. Only 30 seconds.
You don't like it. Oh. Mm-mm. No. Absolutely not.
Te pica. Te pica los yuyos, chiquito. Está bien rico.
So, the other thing about TikTok, there's 8 minutes of this, and it just goes from cats to dogs. It's all about food. But the other thing about TikTok, about being addictive and inspirational, it's also extremely international. Like, it's just really international. I think it's a Chinese company, right? To start out with.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I like that there's stuff that's, the subtitles are not in English. That's true in Pinterest too, by the way, that there's a lot of stuff that I find that's real international, which I think is cool. So let's go to the next one. This is Kathy's TikTok. Oh, but also let's look at this one. Let's look at this video.
This is just a screen grab of the video.
Oh, it's a screen grab of the video. Okay, sorry.
I
So
watched this. Did you watch it?
I did watch it, and it was really good. So the software development, he has 476,000 TikTok followers. Said a week after viewers noticed the irregular growth, he went to a dermatologist, performed a biopsy. A week later, was told it needed to be removed, and so TikTok saved his life. He says potentially because he was just kind of joking about the
It was like he was like something you do at marriage or something, and his girl or his wife was like popping pimples off his back, and they just did like a brief, very brief. Somebody had to really be paying attention because they like a very brief show of his back and her popping the butt, and then you saw this little mole, and it did look a little strange, and then it was gone, and then someone tipped him off and said, hey, that looks like it might be cancerous. Like, what? I always wonder when they say you have to watch out for moles, but so that's what happened with this guy, and then he went and followed up on the tip, and I was like, wow. Like, it wasn't even like it was focused on his back for a long time. It was focused on it was very quick, but somebody caught it. I was like, that's pretty cool, and it turned out that it was bad and needs to be cut out. It's freaking amazing. It's like, and that people, all these people follow him. He probably had a lot of comments, and the fact that he read all of those comments and that one really stood out to him, that it caught his attention. That's
yeah.
pretty cool. Yeah.
And then there was news that was more directly about a little girl whose life was saved on TikTok, which is that there was this, and again, I thought I had a video here. Is this a video or not, Andrew?
No, this is just the article.
Okay, well then I'm gonna have to summarize it again. So there was a little girl who was being kidnapped in Kentucky, I think, and she was going, she went down the highway,
Mhm.
and she had learned this signal on TikTok that that was about. I wanted the videos here. that was basically saying that she needed help, like if you're in a bad situation. So she did that in the car. She held up her, what is it, like this.
Yeah. Is this, and then you come down.
It's like flipping your lid, that's what I learned that. But what is, here we go.
Look at Andrew. He got us.
There is an update to a story about a missing teen rescued after using a viral hand signal she saw on TikTok. A 911 caller says he told Kentucky police a 16-year-old girl was believed to be in danger because he saw the teen mouthing for help as she passed on the interstate, so it wasn't solely based off of the gesture in that case. But the hand signal went viral last year after the Canadian Women's Foundation posted a video about it. Deputies say the 911 caller, quote, recognized a signal that is not universally known. We didn't even know what the TikTok signal was, but we certainly do now. The hand gesture is supposed to signal for help, so it is a hand up, you can see right here, and then your palm is out with, you tuck your thumb, and then you fold down your fingers. So here's an example of it right here, and we'll show you one also.
It was nice to see you again.
Yeah, great to catch up.
Yeah. Oh, can you share that banana bread recipe?
Oh, sure. It's actually my mom's banana bread recipe, but it's pretty foolproof and it's super easy.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. I know your mom is a great baker, so I should be good.
So you can see the point of it there is for her to be able to do it no matter who is around. Andrea Gunraj is the Vice President of Public Engagement for the Canadian Women's Foundation, who started this whole trend. Andrea, your video, it speaks to the power of TikTok, number one, right? But where did the concept for the hand signal even come from, and why post it to social media?
Well, in 2020, April actually, we launched this signal because we knew that there would be a jump in gender-based violence around the world in the pandemic. That happens often in times of crisis. And that's exactly what happened. Canada was no exception where we're based. We also knew that people would be using video calls more often. So it seemed like the right time to release a tool that might help some people some of the time ask for help without leaving a digital trace. One of the things that we thought was really important was making sure that people could share it. And that's why we put it to social media. And of course, people really did use it, remix it, share it around the world. And it's just an indication that it did meet a need that was out there and that people recognized was important.
Yeah, it's almost like the perfect storm because you can share it on social media and people can learn it without having to tell each other in ways that maybe an abuser could pick up on. So I think that that was really smart the way you all approached that. But I wonder, before the news story of the 16-year-old girl using the hand signal, had you or anyone in your organization heard stories that proved its effectiveness in other ways or other scenarios?
We did hear about a couple of other situations. We heard of a TikToker, actually not a TikToker, a YouTuber who shared it on their YouTube channel while they were doing a video, and we heard afterwards that they got the support that they needed. Wow. We also heard about a young person who used it in a Zoom call, and they were dealing with family violence, and the person who saw it was able to make sure that they got the support they needed. For every story that you hear about or that might make the news, I am just cognizant of the fact that it could be so many more that we don't hear about, because this violence is often behind closed doors between people who know each other, and nobody necessarily talks about it. There's still a lot of stigma.
Right. And can I ask you, if I am on a Zoom call and I see someone speaking and they do that, what is the right thing for me to do? Because I know the wrong thing is to be like, wait, what? Are you okay? You're not supposed to do that. But what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, that's a great question. One of the things that I think is really clear is that many times people will be using this in a context where they know the other person. So it's great to be able to respond by reaching out to them in an inconspicuous way, saying, hey, I'm here. Reach out when you have a chance. That allows the person who's using the signal to reach out to you when it's safe for them. And of course, it can be by email, it can be messaging. It doesn't have to be by phone and actually vocalizing. And you let that person take the lead. Sometimes they might just want you to know what's going on. Sometimes they might want to know a service in their community. Sometimes they may ask you to call the authorities, but you let them take the lead and you just be a non-judgmental person in their life who is there for them.
And that's a good note, because I'm someone who goes from 0 to 10. I would have went straight to authorities. And so it's a good note that you have to let them lead in their own situation. But what I thought was interesting about this story in particular is that some of the officers involved in this case, they weren't even aware of the hand signal. They had never seen it. So has this situation also become a learning tool for law enforcement, have you found?
Well, that's such a good piece for us to think about, because as more people know it, more people might use it, particularly in a way that they're signaling out to the world. So I think it is important for first responders to know about the signal, at least be able to recognize it. But we have to remember, gender-based violence like intimate partner abuse, sexual assault, emotional abuse rarely report it to the police. People do not feel comfortable reporting for lots of reasons. They're going to tell their peers, their family, their friends. So you have to know about it as an individual who has family and friends, right, so that you can respond in a non-judgmental way. Stigma is a big part of this, so non-judgment is key.
And I have to ask the question that most skeptics will ask or DM us whenever we do stories like this, which is, Ashley, by you guys having this conversation, you're also showing the predators what the sign is, and that is kind of counterproductive to the entire thing. Is that a concern that you have by putting this on social media? Predators will see it too, and then it'll be less effective because they can recognize it?
That is a totally fair question. I think it's really important to recognize that there's no tool that's going to be perfect in every circumstance. It's something that some people can use some of the time, but we can't prescribe this for people who are going through a violent situation. They know what will help them in that moment. What is important for us to remember is actually to recognize the signs of violence and be proactive about it. Actually tell our friends and family on a daily basis, hey, I'm here. If you need me, I'm going to support you without judgment, without shame, without blame. That's key for gender-based violence. People do experience a ton of blame and shame. We have to be good signal responders, regardless of how a person shares a sign and signal of needing help.
I love that note, that whether you have a signal or not, you got to know your loved ones and let them know you're there. Andrea, thank you so much for this conversation.
Wow, that was awesome. I think that was awesome. Yeah. Sarita, I'm here. So we've gone to, let's go to the next slide. Yeah.
Hey, this is my baby. So, okay.
One more thing I wanted to say before we go to the next slide, which is on Wednesday, we have a webinar that's a parent's journey with Tammy Katthe. That's also going to be on the subject of intimate partner violence, domestic violence, and as a parent, how she navigated that. So I think just a little plug for Wednesday's webinar.
Yeah, and Tammy is part of our daily webinar family. So she's been on with us for a long time, like a regular fan. Surprised not to see her today, but she's on, and she's also part of our National Parent Cafe leadership team. So she's a crucial part to of our Be Strong Families family. So we're super excited to share her with you guys on Wednesday. And then this is our Cafe Community Practice Facebook group. Talk about positive things happening on social media. One of the things that we did maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, time moves so fast. I'm always thinking like, it's just 2 years ago, but it's been longer than. It's been almost like 4 or 5 years. And we have over 2,000 members from across the country that have been trained by us or Be Strong Families or one of our certified training partners to host cafes. And this is where we keep them all connected. And we have people from Kenya on here. We have people from Australia from on here. It's just people from all over. Since we've, increased our online presence, right, with all our virtual stuff, that helped. But it's a great way for us to stay connected. We shared many videos on here, many TA videos, refreshers. We check in with people. People are sharing themes and PowerPoints and all kinds of ways to improve their cafe, to sharpen their cafe skills. So I love the group. It is a private group, and you can only get on here if you answer the questions. So if you send us a request and we're like, oh, we say no, we're going to go back and say, we need you to answer the questions. So if you can't answer the questions, then you probably shouldn't be in the group, but there are other ways you can get connected with us though. So yeah, this is our cafe community practice. I see some of our people on here today. Some of the team is on here today. Super excited to be able to share this with you guys because I love the group. Yay!
Hey.
That's a positive for social media.
Next slide. And how could I forget? I mean, it's Monday and Giving Tuesday is tomorrow. This is Cyber Monday. We're having a the last day of our 25% off sale. I should say the Cafe Community Practice and our 25% off sale for Black Friday through Cyber Monday were both Sarita's ideas for Be Strong Families. And that's kind of the way we roll, is that when people have good ideas on staff, we make it happen. And Giving Tuesday is tomorrow. Not Be Strong Families is a nonprofit organization. We need your support. We are planning to use the money we raise from this year's annual campaign to improve our services and resources and tools for all of our friends serving LGBTQ plus families as part of our DEI effort. And I have a fundraiser on Facebook I didn't start it just for Giving Tuesday, but everybody is welcome to donate there, or your other guy is also going to have one. And Sarita, do you have one on? I don't want to put you on the spot, but are you doing a Giving Tuesday fundraiser?
I am going to do a Giving Tuesday fundraiser. And while you guys are on Facebook, look for us. They do say, what not-for-profit do you want to donate to, for Giving Tuesday? So yeah, Be Strong is on there. Okay, so we're an option. So just in case you have to go look for us, we're an option. So
we're also
yay.
Amazon Smile. It's not a social media, but they give like a penny for each dollar or something. It's not a lot of money, but
every bit helps.
That's my puppy when he was brand new. So just so you know, he's at boot camp now. He's been away for almost a month. He's coming back on Friday, and he's going to be like extremely well trained.
Let me know how that works out, because my aunt has the same type of dog, and he is a mess. I'm like, when are you sending him back to school? Like, send him. I need that information from you.
We'll do it. Let's next slide. I think we're at the end. So the question for the group is, what do we want to amplify coming out of this webinar? What are you taking away, and what do you want to amplify? We're saying amplify Giving Tuesday. Amplify TikTok. Amplify balance. What do we want to balance?
Yes.
Hashtag amplify. I don't see anybody amplifying. Well, while you're thinking about it, let's go to the next slide. Amplify social sanity. So we have our everyday webinars. Tuesday and Thursday are Spanish, Liberating Your Family from Plastic, Part 2. And then on Thursday, A Happy Life in Different Circumstances, regardless of the circumstances. And as I said, on Wednesday, December 1st, Tammy Katthe is going to be doing A Parent's Journey, Creating a Better Future for Myself and My Children, which is focused on her experience with domestic violence. And Friday, A Taste of Cafes. We always have A Taste of Cafes on Friday. So what that means is anybody you know that you want to experience a cafe, or if you want to experience a cafe, you just sign up, and Friday you can go to a cafe. It's an hour and a half, and it's a cafe, and
it's led by the national parent cafe leadership teams. It's a whole team of people who identify as parents.
Great. And Pam says
amplify
unity. Amplify unity. What's the next slide? So that's the Show Your Love for Families. Donate to our annual campaign. We're going to stop having it in the end of December, so there's still plenty of time. We appreciate all donations, small, large, and questionable is here, which is with FanGam Publishing and Curious Conversation, Endless Fun. It's a perfect game for bringing family and friends together over the holidays. It starts, we played it at my house over Thanksgiving. I had a group of about 10 people, and it was, a couple of family members, a number of friends. And what was really cool about it is that after we got started with it, I noticed that the conversation afterwards kind of continued, like with people sharing about their lives and sharing about their experiences. And it's not like incredibly deep. It's fun, but it just keeps the vibe very positive and not focused on things that are problematic.
You know what? And Katthe, I agree because I also played it, but I played with this much smaller group this time. It was only like four of us with my aunts, and we had. I mean, there were tears. I made them use. I put a blusher card. We didn't even follow directions. We were just going through the questions, and I had them use their blusher cards. And then there were tears, and then it was laughing, and then there was more tears, and it was laughing, and it was so great. And I was like, oh my gosh! And then they were all like, we want to buy this game. I didn't do it for that. I just did it because I was like, look at this. I don't get to talk to my aunts that much. And after my mom has moved on, and passed last year, I started thinking about like all the questions that I wish I had asked her, wish I had known. And so having my aunts there and being able to ask these different questions and learn so much about them, I was like, oh my God, it's like really like I've known you my whole life. I didn't even know this about you. So I left there feeling so much more enriched during the weekend. Like I really was happy that I had the game and was able to share that time with them. It was really cool.
I really resonate with what you said about, you know people, you love them, and you kind of always have the same conversation, and you don't necessarily get to, and some of it's fun, like, just like if you could, let's think of what are some of the, I'm trying to think of what are some of the fun questions that you answer, but it's kind of random, like tell a story about what's your most, okay, so this happened at our table. Like there are throwback cards, which means that you can throw the question back to the whole group if you don't want to answer it. So the question that was thrown back to the group was, what was your most embarrassing experience in school? And it was just really, you don't know, like this person wet their pants, this person, suspended, this person. I'm just saying, like, and nobody, people didn't have to pick a, but it's like you learn about people. It's like, my son is telling me about this time. I didn't remember that. I didn't know that, like it's just, you get to places with people that you don't necessarily get to just naturally. So that was one question. And then,
There's a lot of good questions. Like if there wasn't any fear, if there wasn't any fear, what would you do? Like if you weren't afraid, what would you do? And then I found out, well, then my aunt wants to own a bakery in London, wants to open up. I was like, oh my God, that's so amazing. I was like, really? You want to have a bakery in London? She's like, yeah. I was like, go for it. This was me like, you should totally do it. And she was just like, and I never saw that coming from her, She was like, if I wasn't afraid, I would. It's like, shut up. There were all those great ones. And then I have one where my daughter is a cook. There's a lot of great chefs in my family. My daughter has her own catering business. And they asked a question, a blusher question. It was like, what do I do better than anyone else in the family? And my 8-year-old Misha baby, whose mom has a catering business, says, you cook better than anybody in the family. I was like, yes. And my daughter was like, what? And she's standing right next to her, and I grab her like, don't be mean to my Misha baby. She speaks the truth. And then somebody else said I was a great organizer. I was like, really? From your lips to God's ears? I was like, yes, I receive it. And all my children were like, have you seen her office? And I was like, I just feel, I was like, you guys are haters. I can't help it because this is a nice thing they said about me, that I'm the best cook in the family and I'm the most organized.
So I'm going to explain that in addition to the question cards, there's these throwback cards. And what Sarita's talking about, there's also blusher cards, which have hearts on them. And they're called blushers because everybody gets one. And if you play it, then all the other people have to answer the question about you. And it's a very positive question. So the question could be, what do you do better than everyone else in the family? Or it could be, what are 3 things that you really appreciate about me? Or it could be, what are my strengths? What are my biggest strengths? What's my superpower? It was, that was one I played at Thanksgiving for myself. What's my superpower? And it feels really good to go around the table and have everybody like answering the question, even if they don't know me that well. Like, they didn't know, they could still answer based on, dinner.
But they do know, right?
You
And
made
that's where the tears came from, because somebody's like, to my aunts, like, what about me inspires you? Um, and what have I done? What's the best characteristic you love about me, or something like that? And then we start sharing. They were like, "Oh no, are you trying to make us cry? Are you trying to make me cry?" I was like, "No, we're not trying to make you cry, but this is so, just receive it." And then as we went around the table, there was more tears and there was laughing. It was a really great
yeah.
time. I'm really glad that we put together Questionable, and that it's available for people, and and today 25% off. So while we're talking about it, I just thought I'd put that plug out there. It's 25% off today. So, and we didn't even follow the instructions. We just used the cards,
Now that's what
at the thing, which is cool.
we did a little survey. If you buy it from our website, we'll get a little survey that asks you what you're planning to do with it, or like why you bought it. And a lot of the people who are buying it are talking about using the questions as icebreakers in their, or giving it as a gift to parents in their program. Because a lot of our people who are in our network are people who provide services to families. So they're talking about friends and family, but also just using the questions. And we ask people to just use it any way you want to, and let us know what works. What works.
Yeah.
So why did you take the PowerPoint? Were we done, Andrew, of the PowerPoint? Is that the last slide? I think the last slide was follow us on YouTube. So this is available on YouTube. All of our webinars are available on YouTube, and we'd love you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That doesn't cost anything.
That does not cost anything. That does not cost anything. And I don't know, maybe I missed it, because today was a really good conversation. But so not only is Questionable 25% off, but everything in the store today is the last day for the sale. So you guys don't want to miss it. If you want to get anything in bulk, this is the time to get it. If you need presents, this is the time to get it. You have
Stuffers. We
the
have
rest of the day. Huh?
stocking stuffers, like our refrigerator
Stocking stuffers,
magnets,
yeah.
refrigerator magnets, 25% off everything. So
The beautiful Amplify journal. See it on our backgrounds. I just noticed that Katthe and I had like the same one but different. Yay! The Amplify journal and calendars. So great stocking stuffers, great gifts for yourselves and for the families you serve. So yay! Thanks for joining us today, guys. This is a great conversation. I needed today's conversation. Thank you.
me too. Take care, everyone.